Hi all, here we are going to discuss about the concept of supply. Um, in this concept of supply, it is the cornerstone of GST. Under GST, it is levied on the supply of goods rather than on the manufacture, sale, or provision of goods and services. Key elements of supply under GST. Broad destinations, broad definition. Supply under GST is defined in extensive manner, covering all types of transactions where goods or services are transferred, exchanged, or provided for consideration in the course or for furtherance of business. Consideration for a transaction to qualify as a supply, it generally must be for a consideration which can be in the form of money or something else of value. However, certain activities without consideration, such as free samples or gifts exceeding a certain value, are also treated as supplies under GST. The next one is type of supply. The term supply encompasses both goods and services. The distinction between goods and services is essential for determining the applicable tax rate and compliance requirements. State and intra-state supply. Supply can occur within a state or between states. Different GST apply to these transactions. Forms of supply. Sale, the most common form of supply involving the transfer of ownership of goods or services for a consideration. It involves the transfer of goods or services from one entity to another, typically without a sale, such as transfer between branches. Um, Barter or exchange, a supply where goods are exchanged for goods instead of money. License, lease, and rental. These are forms of supply where goods or services are temporarily transferred or made available for use by another party for a consideration. The next is special. The next is special transaction considered as supply. Imports of various services is considered as a supply, even if it is made without consideration. Deemed supply. Certain activities are deemed as a supply under GST, even if they do not involve actual transfer of provision of goods and services, such as the transfer of business assets without consideration or supplies made related parties. Taxable supply. GST applicability. For a transaction to be taxable under GST, it must be qualified as a supply. Once a transaction is identified as a supply, it will be subject to GST at the applicable rate unless specially exempted. The next is significance of concept of supply. That is essential for businesses and individuals to determine the taxability of their transactions, the correct GST rate, and the appropriate compliance requirements. Since GST is levied at the point of supply, correctly identifying and supplying, yeah, is to proper tax reporting and payment. Next is composite and mixed supplies. Composite supply, when two or more goods or services naturally blended, bundled, and supplied together in the course of business, where one is the principal supply, the entire supply is taxed at the rate applicable to the principal supply. Mixed supply, when two or more goods or services are supplied together for a single price but do not constitute a composite supply. The supply is taxed at the highest rate applicable to any of the individual items. The next one is continuous supply. It refers to goods or services provided on a recurring or continuous basis with periodic invoice or payments such as electricity, water, or long-term maintenance services. GST implications. The GST for continuous supply is determined on the issuance of invoices or receipt of payments, whichever is earlier. Time of supply. The time of supply determines when GST is payable. It is generally the earliest of the date of invoice issuance, the date of removal of goods, or receipt of payment. The next is the place of supply. It determines the location where the supply is deemed to occur and thus identifies which state starts. Valuation of supply. The value of supply under GST is the transaction value, that is the price actually paid or payable for goods or services. The next one is supply in special cases. Certain suppliers are treated as exporters under GST, even though goods do not leave the country, such as supplies to SEZ unit or developers. Anti-profiteering measures to prevent businesses from unjustly increasing prices in the name of GST. The anti-profiteering provisions ensure the benefit of reduced taxes or input tax credit is passed on to the consumers. Conclusion: the concept of supply under